The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser cut dice towers, tokens, and more, developed by a gamer for gamers, and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts. And by SD Way Gaming, where dice goblins unite. Our friends at SD Way Gaming celebrate the beautiful dice players handpick for their games and splendor. SD Way Gaming has expanded to include many tabletop gaming varieties, accessories, and similar fun necessities to include a service for your dice addiction. You can shop for a variety of products at sdwaygaming.com or find SD Way Gaming on Facebook. Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Gideon Block, a paladin of Daga, bringing her justice to the wilds of Ritoya.
I'm Connor Shenold, and I play Konnor with a K, the Kobold Sorcerer who's finally out of the bag.
I'm Johnny Payne, and I play Zonimus Dinar, a roguish warlock controlling his fate with chaos.
I'm Kiri Hester, and I play Poppy Tealeaf, a highborn halfling druid who has forsaken her family for the call of the frontier.
I'm Brooke Bullock, and I play Moran Stoneshaper, a young dwarf sorcerer wielding his arcane gifts to delve into the mysteries of the wilderness.
And I'm Ash King, your dungeon master. Join us now for Tales from the Callban Frontier. Darkness has fallen. The light of Daga retreats. The gentle whispers of Dusk can be heard, beckoning a bright soul to rest. Moran, as you see Gideon fall, you decide to rush his killer. Before you standing tall, the Lich, Fortunato. In your pain and grief, you lash out at him, but you fail. And Fortunato reaches out to touch you. But you're lucky. It's only a 14. In your momentum, you go past his hand, whirling around once more. I imagine tears choking your eyes as you see that once bright spark, Gideon Block, Paladin of Daga, lying still on the ground at Fortunato's feet. Poppy, you're up.
Let me ask a question before I decide what to do.
Okay.
If I were a large creature, could I pick up a medium creature? If
Yes.
it were dead weight, if you will.
He would be difficult to move, but you could pick him up.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Now, let me ask you this. If I were, hypothetically, a large eagle, could I scoop him and fly off?
I would say yeah. I would allow it.
Okay. Let me ask another question. The last round, Serafina seemed to be starting up the ship, and it was making noise. Is anything going on with the ceiling?
Nothing yet.
Okay. But I presume.
But you can presume if she is starting to boot up the ship, she's warming up the getaway car.
Yeah, next question. I have so many questions. Would picking up Gideon be an action?
Yes, I would consider
Because
that an
he's
action.
dead weight.
Yeah, but then it's also an action for you to transform.
Zonimus, are we getting out of here? I'm going to probably just a scream, and then I guess probably just go ahead and... Tis an eagle, and I'll fly that direction, but I want to stay out of melee range of Fortunato.
So you transform into a giant eagle and just start doing loops around the room. Fair enough. All right.
Let me mark that wild shape off.
Next turn would be Schnookums, who, again, is more just holding the line. He does go and sets you down, Konnor, next to Serafina's feet, and just lays down next to her in that lazy cat way, just waiting for orders. So you are loose from the Steel Predator's jaw. What would you like to do?
I do kind of want to crack open my eye again and try and see if the pocket closest to me has my crystal in it.
In Serafina?
Yeah.
I would say that that's very difficult for you to tell because you didn't really see what pocket she put it in.
I assume she pocketed it.
I would feel she really only has like one big major pouch on her belt that would be big enough for that crystal. So it's pretty safe to figure out where. But I would also tell you this, Konnor. Being what you are, knowing what you know where they're planning to go.
Yeah.
You know what they're planning to do, and you know how to find that place. So at this point, if you needed to cut your ties and run, would probably be a good option, but 'tis up to you.
I have a plan.
Okay.
I'm still playing dead. I'm next to her, but can I, see a good portion of the ship?
Yeah, I mean, you're on, it's the main deck. It's the command module. The command module is up a little bit higher, so that way whoever is currently controlling the ship has a good line of view to the surrounding area. So
That's what I need. Okay.
Okay.
I'm still waiting.
Okay, and with that, it is Serafina's turn, and she is continuing to prepare the ship. Again, you feel that deep rumbling. The ship is lifting up off its docks, and you do see one of the Agers runs over to a control panel on the wall, seeing that it's go time, and hits a couple of levers, flips a couple of switches, and you all hear the rumbling and a bit of shaking as the door at the top of the mesa that hides this dry dock from view slowly begins to open and recede. So you think it'll probably take a turn or two for it to fully open, but it is opening up, and you do hear Serafina yelling out in Primordial something that does seem to catch Wiley and Fortunato's attention. So that will be it for Serafina. We are at Wiley. So Zonimus, you have shot him twice. Gideon is down. Poppy is currently a giant eagle and is trying to stay out of the fray. Moran is threatening Fortunato as best he can. Wiley looks to you, Zonimus, and he speaks a command. Stand down. I need a wisdom saving throw, please.
It's an 8.
It's an 8. All right.
That's fine, because I'm going to do, am I standing down, the exact same thing I was going to do on my turn.
And with that, he is actually slowly at first, but starts to head towards the skyship.
Okay.
And that's it for him. So, Fortunato, he looks to you, Moran, and he speaks another power word. Stand still.
What should have happened before, but without even thinking about it, I think no and counterspell. If that's
You will have to roll to see if you can avoid this.
I do get to add the spell bonus to it, so it's a modified 19.
Boy, you just counterspelled the Lich again.
We see he just is connected with the earth and his anger and his grief, and he blocks it, and then just sobs come because I realize I might have been able to stop the death that came out a moment before, and this guilt is just welling up in Moran.
Zonimus.
I'm knelt down beside Gideon, my hand on his chest, staring down Wiley and knowing that it's not this day. And as I slide my hand over and start to push my fingers under the star, I hear Wiley mumble something, and I stand up, pulling the star off of his chest, and I long walk to the end of his body, around to the other side where he's now behind me, and I turn back to face Wiley, and I extend my hand, and the bow disappears, and I let it drop to my side, still locked eyes with him in that I don't care how you spin this or who said it, this is your fault. And I stand there rubbing the star.
Moran, I'm overcome with grief, and my hammer drops down. I still have a hold of it, but it drops down to the ground, and he just stands there. I could have saved him. So I'm holding my action.
You see, boy, this is what comes from trying to fight the Empire. As Fortunato reaches out once more, brushing against your cheek with that paralyzing touch. Will be a 26.
Yeah, that definitely makes connection.
That'll be 7 points of cold damage,
Okay,
and I need a Constitution saving throw.
that is a modified 18.
That just saves.
Backhands his hand off of him at the very last instant. In the frost and the ice still crackles and burns across his face. And I lock eyes with this thing for just a moment. Everything goes to the earth at some point.
Foolish child. Poppy.
Okay. So I was gargling. I would like to come down, scoop him in my claws quickly, but I'm not trying to like be super gentle because I'm trying to be fast, but I'm also trying not to go through him. And then I want to get as high as I can.
Okay.
So my fly speed is 80. As I lift Gideon up, I remember him lifting me up to sit on his shoulders. And I think about the man who was a father for me for however short of a time that I knew him, and how this man who didn't know me from Sam was a better dad than the person who created me was. And so that's what I'm thinking about as I just fly as high up as I can get.
Schnookums remains at Serafina's side, gently awaiting orders. Konnor?
Did Poppy get far enough for me to see her?
Yeah, because you see this huge eagle soaring up into, this huge shaft in the mesa. She's starting to head towards where I'd imagine at this point you might have even just like rolled over just slightly, and you have, that one eye cracked open, and you can see where you're starting to be able to see the night sky, because it's midnight by this point.
And how distracted are Serafina and the Steel Predator?
Serafina is definitely distracted with the ship and getting things going. The Steel Predator, it's not so much that it's distracted, it's more just in a state of readiness.
Okay.
So, depending on what you want to do.
I'm gonna wait until we're up in the air.
In that case, moving on to Serafina's turn, she seems to be holding the ship for Wiley to get there, holding her turn to prepare to take off. And yeah, Wiley's going to use his full action to dash, which I would say probably at this point does get him up onto the deck, at which point Serafina definitely does not seem worried about Fortunato, so she engages thrusters, and the ship rises once more, beginning to fully take off as the skylight fully opens up, and you all can see the night sky of the Callbound Frontier overhead. Fortunato, to you, Moran.
Yes.
Is once more going to reach forth his hand, and I need a Constitution saving throw from you.
Okay. That one is quote unquote only a 17.
It's only a 17. Okay, unfortunately that does fail. 32 points of necrotic.
You good, bruh?
He's still up.
Alright, so that will be it for Fortunato's turn.
Okay.
And we will roll over to Zonimus.
So standing there as though he's going to guard Gideon's body, the giant eagle swoops down and carries him away. And Wiley turns and runs to the ship. As soon as Wiley turns and breaks the gate, is locked in with, Zonimus turns around and starts walking.
Okay.
Still holding the badge in his hand, throwing his thumb over it. You don't know where I'm going. I'm debating on leaving the mesa or going to the war room. I haven't decided yet.
Haven't decided yet.
But that choice will be presented to me in a moment, I'm sure.
Of course. Well, and then, there's also the problem that technically Fortunato is still there. So, it depends on also what he allows you to do.
I have to stand down. I'm standing down.
You are. So, Moran.
Zonimus is walking away.
Away.
An eagle has swooped down and grabbed Gideon's body.
After I grabbed Gideon's body, Zonimus turned and walked away.
How far away is Wiley from Moran and Fortunato?
Round about 60 feet.
He makes himself stand up and grab the warhammer, and he starts backing up with his eyes on Fortunato with a readied action to cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp if Fortunato tries to come after them or do an aggressive motion.
Okay, towards you?
Yeah, towards Zonimus and I, since we're...
Okay.
I saw Zonimus walk by, so I know he's back there behind me a little bit. So.
Right. Okay. Poppy?
I am flying towards Dreaming Fox. That's my end goal, but I can only go 80 feet at a time.
Yeah, so you are out of the mesa, but just in the airspace above it.
I will say my friends are still there in the mesa, so I would dash to get out, but I'm not going to dash to get too far away.
So the Steel Predator is just chilling, hanging out. Konnor, you doing anything?
So I see Eagle Poppy doing like circles above the thing. Subtle spell, message. Hey Poppy, I think Moran usually says, don't freak out. I got a plan, just hang out for me, alright? Wait till the ship's up in the air, and you'll see what the plan is once we're up in the air.
I guess I would have actually probably thought something along the lines of, like, Gideon's dead. He's dead, Konnor. I don't know. You weren't there. I'm glad you're not dead.
Thanks.
You looked pretty dead.
I was trying.
Oh, you did a good job.
Thanks. I'm not dead, but
Gideon will be very proud of you.
I know. Okay, let's not let his last attempt to heal me go to waste, and you stick around, okay?
Okay.
Serafina, at the control panel, engages the ship, causing it to rise at a fairly rapid pace. Basically, I'd say, yeah, by the end of this round, it is up at the entrance and is breaking through the mesa's top out into the open air. Konnor, I would say you're close enough that you just notice this really happy, just manic look on her face of this is the thing that she wanted to do.
Yeah, so essentially since I said I was waiting for us to be like up in the air, I do want us to be a little bit further in the air, not just like right at the lip right here. Can I go back and say I slowly slip my hand in my backpack?
Yes. In that case, technically it would be Wiley's turn, but you just see him, Konnor, standing at the railing, one hand gripping onto some rigging to keep himself from being blown off, but he's just looking down into the mesa, a very pensive, forlorn look on his face. As you see him reach up to where Zonimus had hit him with the bow, as he just breaks off a majority of the arrow shaft. He's just kind of massaging that spot that still needs medical attention. But with that, it would be Fortunato. And seeing that Zonimus, you and Moran are standing down, are stepping back, Fortunato does take a few steps backwards. He looks at you, Zonimus, and says, "The boy asked me to spare you. This is the last time I will honor that request." And with that, you see him cast a spell and fade away, leaving the fight.
Could I recognize what it was?
Plane shift.
Okay, very good. That's what I thought it probably was.
All right, Zonimus.
Flinch at any of his words. He's nothing to me. I, for the first time, noticed Moran has joined me, at which point I decided to not go to the war room, but instead to exit the mesa silently.
I'm assuming using the secret passage that you had used before?
Yeah.
All right.
Moran can, with him, Fortunato disappears. I turn toward the secret entrance and see Zonimus pause and then head that direction. And then I turn back around and touch my vest and point toward the skyship, which is just right at the lip. Konnor, don't freak out if you can hear me, but are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, you're alive?
Yeah,
Okay, so just, can you get out of there?
I got it. I'm out of here. Just give me a few seconds.
Oh, okay, you're pretty much on your own, man.
I can handle it.
We'll rendezvous outside.
All right.
And then I do the rest of my action to follow Zonimus.
Okay.
When we get to the entrance, I reach my hand in my pocket and feel a Trito, but then I take my hand off the Trito and pull an empty hand out of the pocket.
Greetings and salutations, my friends. I'm Michael Cross. So great to have a moment to talk with you during this mid-show break. First off, I want to invite you all to join us as Patreon members. The money we raise helps us pay for things like the music and sound effects you hear on the show, as well as money to go to events and make new fans. When you become a Patreon member, you get our episodes 4 days early, bonus content, access to our Discord server, and full versions of our roundtable discussions. You'll be joining other fans like Scott Wise, Don Mills, Heath Mormon, and the Lady Kate. So join us right now at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. Another way to support us is by getting your very own Red Dirt merchandise. You can find things like hats, hoodies, mugs, and t-shirts. Just click on the merch tab at reddirtdnd.com or reddirtrpg.com. Since 2020, the Red Dirt D&D podcast has been close to another Oklahoma actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast, D20 to Curtain. And me personally, I've had a chance to work on stage with some of the actors on the show. So when you get done with this episode, you should check them out.
Hello, fellow D&Ders. My name is Jerome.
I'm Jennifer. I'm Jody.
And together with our friends Kara, Timothy, and Jared, we are the cast of the D20 to Curtain podcast, where Oklahoma theater geeks and their friends hit record and explore our new addiction to Dungeons & Dragons.
We think D&D is more than just a game. It helps us tap into the enduring power of storytelling.
We combine live gameplay with behind-the-curtain episodes to share our experiences, insights, habits, discoveries, and passion for D&D with anyone who will listen.
We hope D20 to Curtain will make you laugh, cry, maybe even make your experience at your table even more satisfying. Check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts or visit us at d20tocurtain.com or at D20tocurtain on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We look forward to having you. All we ask is that you have fun, be kind, and play the role.
If you're looking for more content, make sure to check out our YouTube page with Mysteries of Beatrix live every Wednesday. Keys from the Golden Vault from the Red Dirt Outlaws dropping every Tuesday at noon, and Plausible Deniability every other Thursday at 7 p.m. So come check it out at youtube.com/@RedDirtRPG or search for Red Dirt RPG on YouTube. And we would love to hear from you. Find us on social media at Red Dirt RPG. You can also get in touch with us through our website at reddirtrpg.com. In the meantime, make sure and subscribe to this podcast and leave a comment on your favorite podcatcher so others can find us. All right, I think that's everything I need to tell you. Right now, let's head back to Red Dirt D&D.
Well, Poppy, you soar high and free above the mesa.
Konnor told me not to get too far away, but I do want to stay out of the way of this giant boat.
Yeah, it's producing some of its own kind of wind currents and thermals. You're having to fight it a little bit, but yeah, you can stay out of its way, no problem.
And so I would like to stay just within 40 feet or so, however far I need to be of the boat, and I guess follow it until something happens.
Okay. So what I would say at this point, because again, the Steel Predator is pretty much doing the same thing. Konnor.
So once we're a little bit a ways from the mesa, not like any further, but just so we're not right above it, I spring up and move as fast as I can to be on one of the railings.
Okay.
And I've left my backpack, but clutched in my hands is the 6-stringed beads of fireballs. Never underestimate the Kobold of Thundercrack. And I throw my hand up and cast it down to where I was, all 6 beads, and I fling myself back.
It is a 30-foot sphere. So I will say that you get Wiley, the Predator, and Serafina.
Okay, well,
you'll do damage to part of the ship as well.
Roll it down. Let's go. You can reroll that one.
Okay, so it is 48 fire damage.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
But yes, I fling myself off so I don't get hit in this blast.
They all get dex saves as well. It's a DC 13, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Serafina did save, so she would only take half as well. And then the Steel Predator will save as well. And then Wiley will not save, but will only take half because fire genasi. But really at this point, it's more about the shock and awe. Yes, so exactly. Konnor, you smash down the entire remaining necklace of fireballs before just letting yourself fall back off the ship. And it is a big conflagration. You do imagine that this might have at least been a setback where they will probably have to land and do some repairs and blah, blah, blah. They might even have to go back to the mesa. You don't know. But the important part is that a small form that our Poppy Eagle does notice with her very keen eagle eyesight, even in the gloom. You see this little kobold is now free-falling.
I would like to get him to land on my back. We did do this earlier. When we were leaving Gideon's mom's camp, I threw him in the air with my feet and then caught him on my back.
At this point, the battle is over. The skyship is headed off to wherever it needs to head. Poppy, you swoop under and catch Konnor. No big deal. You know, Konnor, you were free-falling there for a second, but with that complete trust, you land on top of Poppy. and the two of you soar off into the night. Moran, the two of you follow down the hidden passage, coming out on the other side into the frontier at night. Cool air brushing against your skin, the quiet sounds of the wildlife, a stark contrast from what you just left. You all reconvene at the camp where Dreaming Fox awaits. And as soon as you set Gideon down, he goes over to the body, very gently brushing Gideon's hair away from his face, carefully closing his eyelids, and quietly you hear him begin to sing in Elven. It's the type of song that outsiders rarely hear, a death song, speaking of what Dreaming Fox knew of Gideon, his bravery, his devotion to Daga. After a moment, he stops and looks up at you all and says, "Wildheart needs to know. I will take you back to camp." And so he helps you load Gideon up into the cart and, without looking back, begins to lead the way back to the Elven camp.
As we're putting Gideon's body into the back of the cart, Moran's eyes catch Poppy's, and there's another wave of grief, because the last time we moved a body that was too big for us, it was hilarious. And this time, he's not coming back.
I take off. For 3 hours plus whatever is left. I don't want to be a person who has to cry and deal with it. I'm just going to get as far as I can before I run out of power. And then once I get that far, I'm just going to land. And I'm a ways ahead of them at this point, I imagine, with the cart and everything. I'm going to spend some quiet time just laying in the sand, just crying and praying, specifically angry praying to Daga. He did everything that he could do. He made mistakes, sure, but he paid for those mistakes. He was working so hard for you, and you let this happen. And I'm sure, yes, Gash would tell me that this was supposed to happen. This was beings have their time, circle of life. But if I'm being honest, I don't want a circle of life right now. I just wanted someone to care about me the way that Gideon cared about me. Gideon he lost everything, and he was still capable of loving people unconditionally with every fiber of his being, even if he didn't know them. Even if he didn't agree with the things that they said, he still valued them. And I'm just going to listen to the crickets and try to spend a few minutes calming down, grounding myself, breathing, because this is the first person that she's ever genuinely loved and cared about who has died. And she doesn't understand she doesn't understand those feelings. So she's going to try to get to a point where she can be calm when the rest of everybody catches up with her.
In your prayers, you don't feel the presence of Daga. Not that warm light, not that searing brightness that forces people to obey. It's gentle love. It's the coolness of rain on your cheeks, and you hear a gentle whisper in your ear, "Child, you mourn him because you loved him. It is only through the pain that the healing can begin." And for a while, as you're alone, you feel that gentle love of she who weeps, whose gentle presence there with you. You feel as if she cries with you.
Red Dirt D&D Tales from the Caliban Frontier is Ash King as our Dungeon Master, Brooke Bullock as Moran Stoneshaper, Johnny Payne as Zonimus Dinar, Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, and I'm Michael Cross as Gideon Block. Our theme music was created by the cinemagician PJ Castillo. Our incidental music comes from Jeffrey McBride. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of Monument Studios, Andrew Sitkov, and tabletopaudio.com. We here at Red Dirt D&D could really use your help in getting the word out about us. If you like what you've heard, make sure to rate us and leave a comment. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and reddirtdnd.com. Tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D and share us on social media. And we have new content on our YouTube and Twitch pages. Just search for Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. We have several giving levels, including early listening to shows and access to our Discord server. Join us next time as we go deeper into the Caliban frontier.